Hello, fellow fight fans, and welcome to the Untitled Fightcast number 015. So, more or less immediately after posting the video last week, sort of what I alluded to last week is that things can change. Both immediately that night and the next day, I found out some new information, and so basically that's all this week's episode is going to be. Updates to things that I said last week that became immediately not true. So wrap up, lock in, and let's get it started. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually not so much an update, but something that I just completely left out. Not that it's something I knew and left out, but it's something I didn't learn until I was watching a different podcast later on that night, and that's that every single fighter for UFC London did in fact get paid their show money. So good on you, Dana White and the UFC. Big double thumbs up. And as I'm sure many of you know, UFC 249 is indeed canceled. This news came to us literally the day after I posted last week's podcast. And, you know, it probably is for the better, but I can't lie. I was indeed fairly disappointed because this was a stacked ass card, and the only fights I've been watching are old UFCs. I'm currently on UFC 38. That being said, the reason it got canceled is not because Dana chose to out of safety of the coronavirus. It's because the higher ups at both Disney and ESPN called him and told him that he wasn't going to be able to put it on because it was going to be a bad look for Disney and ESPN if they put on a sporting event. So totally understand, totally get it. Dana was ready to put it on. He was in the position to put it on. It physically could have gone on, but it can't because it won't be streamed. All of that being said, it was going to take place at Tachi Palace in California, which is a casino on an Indian reservation. However, after getting some insider information from Big John on the Weighing In podcast, shout out to all those guys, apparently UFC 249 was more or less going to be self-regulated and not actually regulated by the California State Athletic Commission, not to mention that none of the usual refs and judges that we're used to were going to be there. We've had reffing problems in the past. We've had some serious judging problems in the past. But the fact that the top quality refs and judges weren't going to be there, so no Herb Dean, no Jason Herzog, no judges' names that I don't know because I don't know any of the judges' names. I mean, this could have been awful. God forbid a fight got stopped early. And even worse, God forbid a fight got stopped late and there could have been tons of judging errors. So between all of that and the fact that most of the fighters probably weren't in their most prime conditioning due to the very strange training regimens that everyone has to go through right now, just from a sports perspective, I think it's great that UFC 249 did not happen. Another update to something I said, though, last week was that Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade were going to fight. And before the event even got canceled, Rose actually did pull out of the event due to apparently two of her family members passed away from the coronavirus. So my condolences to Rose and her family. This is a terrible time for a lot of people. And once again, I think it illustrates the point as to why UFC 249 should not be happening. And it's a good thing that it's not. And that's it for this week, everyone. Nice and short and hella disappointing. But all joking aside, this is a hard time for everyone. It's harder for some people than others. I'm holding up okay. I hope you all are holding up okay. If you have a family member with the disease or if you've had anyone pass away, I'm giving you as much strength as I can through my words. And hopefully this will all be over soon-ish and slowly things can get back to normal. Thank you as always for tuning in and supporting, and I'll talk to y'all in next week's episode of the Untitled Fightcast.